Dear Diary, today I want to talk about the 4 months that changed my life forever. I thought going to the UK for love would be the beginning of my forever. I didn't know it would be the 4 months that I would lose myself. And these were the 4 months I promised God that no man, would ever come before him again. This is one of my heartbreaking stories, but don't worry, we will laugh. Because when I look back now, I laugh at my own stupidity. And maybe, just maybe, this story will save someone who is in love and losing themselves right now. Because besties, it gets worse. Let me start from the beginning. You know I'm the type of person who keeps everything inside. I don't like burdening people with my problems. Yes, I have a best friend, the one I could probably tell everything, but she is one of those people who wakes up negative. If positivity was a person, it would avoid her house. She doesn't trust anyone. She is the type who will never trust you until you prove you deserve it. And me? I will trust you until you prove you don't deserve it. See the difference? So, because of her negativity, I buried things inside. I never told her this story, because I did not want her to criticize my whole situation with her negativity. By that time, all I needed was someone to encourage me and tell me it will be okay. And don't get me wrong, I love my best friend very much. She is the type that will fight your battles as her own. So one day, when I was traveling from one city to another, I told my whole story to a total stranger. A stranger who did not judge me. A stranger who listened. And that conversation? That was a free therapy. And that was part of my healing. Besties, don't keep your pain inside. Just make sure you find a healthy way to deal with it, even if it is by talking it out with a total stranger. End of 2015. A guy from my high school comes back into my life. Let's call him Mr. Zero. Now, besties, this boy had liked me in high school. But back then, I was already in a relationship with another boy. Then years later, he appears on my Facebook. Hey, stranger. And me? I was single, successful, happy. And I said, why not? He lived in London, UK. You know how we Africans are. When someone says, I live abroad, suddenly we feel like they are glowing. Suddenly they are imported. Suddenly they are premium. We met for dinner, then another dinner, and before he flew back to the UK, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. The beginning was sweet. You know that beginning, when you act like you discovered love for the first time in human history. Cloud 9, butterflies. You know that type of love where your brain resigns? Like your common sense packs its bags and says, Madam, I cannot work under these conditions. Yep, that was me. Throughout 2016, he came to Tanzania more than 5 times. More than 5. To see me. He met my siblings, my relatives, everyone except my father, because I don't introduce boyfriends to my father. Not yet. Now listen carefully. When he came to Tanzania, I made sure he lived like a king. He stayed with me in my house. I was working. I was earning good money. I had a beautiful house. He drove my car. I made sure it had full tank at all times. Food stocked, groceries filled. And that man used everything. He never spent his dime. And sometimes, not even for his air tickets. Yes, besties, I paid for some of his return tickets. He promised to refund me. He never did. But I said, it's okay. Love is about giving. Because I was in love. And I thought love meant giving without counting. I thought love meant proving your loyalty. I thought love meant sacrifice. I didn't know that love without boundaries becomes self-abandonment. Besties, have you ever been in love where you are the sponsor? You are the girlfriend, wife, mother, World Bank, IMF, and Ministry of Finance at the same time? That was me. One day my uncle, my father's youngest brother, asked to meet him. We went for dinner. My uncle asked questions. Serious questions. I didn't understand what was happening, because when you are in love, your brain resigns. Later, my uncle told me, "There's something wrong with that boy." He felt it. He saw through him. But me? I was blinded with love. So, my uncle said, "You need to go to the UK and see the real life he lives." Now listen carefully, besties. This is how African girls are trapped. You hear London, and suddenly your brain starts playing Beyoncé. You imagine winter coats, cute coffee shops, couple selfies near Big Ben. I said, "Yes, I am going." So I told Mr. Zero I wanted to move to the UK. He hesitated. This was red flag that I ignored. But I convinced him. I told him my plan of going there under student visa, and that I will cover all my move costs, my visa, my ticket, my course fees. I asked him to support me with accommodation while I settle. Fair, right? Since I supported him fully when he came to Tanzania. I quit my beautiful job, a well-paying job. I left my house, my car, my comfort, all in the name of love. I applied for a student visa, paid for a course, spent serious money. August 2017, I landed in the UK, thinking I was about to level up in life. I thought I was walking into my future. I was actually walking into my lesson. The first 2 to 3 weeks, peaceful, sweet, happy. Then, the lies began revealing themselves. Before we started our relationship, he told me he worked at some big company. It is one of the big 4 auditing firms called KPMG, working as one of their financial analysts. Guess where he actually worked? A supermarket. Entry level. Now listen, besties. I have nothing against working in a supermarket. The problem was the lie. Why create a fake lifestyle? And now come to think of it, he made me believe he was living a superior life so that I would treat him like a VIP boyfriend when he came to Tanzania. And I did. I gave him luxury, while he was surviving quietly in London. But I still loved him. And did I leave after knowing the truth? No, because I was still stupidly in love. I told myself, it's okay, I will help him. The sponsor mentality followed me to the UK. After 1 month, he changed completely. He started complaining. Complaining about what? My existence. He said, "Life is expensive with you here." Excuse me? I was at university most of the time. I ate at school. I barely used anything in his apartment. One day he said, "You need to pay some of my bills." The same man who lived rent-free in my house. The same man who drove my car. The same man who never bought even chewing gum. Now, my presence was expensive? Besties, that's when things began breaking inside me. He would insult me and use mean words that were meant to break me. He then started saying I should go back to Tanzania. I said, "Okay, let's go together. Let's both go back and start fresh." I was still fighting for our love. He refused, but instead of questioning his love for me, I questioned myself. Maybe I was asking for too much. Maybe I should help more. Maybe I should shrink. And slowly, I did. And that's when I started begging. Yes, confident Megan, begging, crying, begging him for me to stay with him in the UK. I didn't want to lose him. Who did that? Me. I started using my savings to pay some of his bills. Because I was afraid he would ask me to leave, I began walking carefully around him, watching my words, measuring my tone. One day I was sick at home, cold, weak, but I was afraid to turn on the heater because I didn't want to increase his electricity bill. That was the moment I realized something was deeply wrong. I had become afraid in a relationship I sacrificed everything for. My confidence faded. My school performance dropped. I wasn't focused. I wasn't thriving. I was surviving emotionally. He would shout, I would shrink. I lost weight, cried constantly. School suffered. My peace evaporated. And I kept begging him to love me. Love can reduce you to a version of yourself you don't recognize. One day my uncle called. I broke down. He told me I knew something was wrong from that dinner. I told him how he said my existence was expensive for him. He said, if he can't afford you sleeping in his apartment, what do you need him for? That sentence hit me. What do I need him for? But I asked my uncle to give me more time to fight for his love. He never pressured me and said, okay. Weeks later, Mr. Zero gave me an ultimatum. Break up or go back to Tanzania and continue long distance. Again, I suggested, let's both go back and start fresh together. He refused. That's when I understood. He never loved me. He loved the lifestyle I gave him. Not me. After 4 months, he said, I don't want to be with you anymore. It's time you go back. For the first time, I heard him, really heard him, and I said, okay. That night, I cried for wasted time, cried for serious men I rejected, cried for quitting my job, cried for believing lies, cried for losing myself. I even cried in my sleep. Next day, I called my uncle. He didn't ask many questions. He said, when do you want to come back? I told him the date. In 30 minutes, he sent the ticket. 30 minutes, besties! Do you know what it feels like to have someone choose you that fast? He said, come back, my daughter. You still have time. That sentence healed something in me. Later that day, I went to a nearby church. I cried. Not cute crying, ugly crying. The usher came. I looked at him like, brother, please, let me cry. And that day, I made a promise to God. I said, God, you will always be first. No man will ever sit on your throne in my heart again. And suddenly, peace, real peace, God's peace covered me. I could finally breathe again. My mood changed. I stopped begging. I stopped crying. I started glowing. Suddenly, Mr. Zero became confused because some men don't like when you stop suffering over them. One day, he tried to insult me. He said, go back home and ask your aunt to teach you how to live with a man. In our culture, aunties prepare you for marriage. I calmly said, when the right man go to my father and pays bride price, I will go for the teachings. He was shocked because I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I was done. A week before my departure, one of his friends came to his apartment. As we were talking, I just said to him as a joke that I was planning to go back to Tanzania. At that time, I had not told Mr. Zero that I was definitely going back, and I had my ticket already. His friend said, how can you go back? People fight to stay here. I said, stay for what? To suffer in cold weather? To struggle for pride? I would rather thrive in Tanzania than survive in London for social media. And I came home. And guess what? I did better. Much better. 3 days before departure, I told Mr. Zero I was leaving for good. He was shocked. I wonder why the shock? While he kept insisting that I should go back. Maybe he thought I wouldn't leave him. Suddenly he wanted long-distance relationship again. Suddenly he wanted to try. I said no. After I returned back, I blocked him. And that was it. 4 months. That's all I stayed in the UK, and I hated it. Not because of the country, but because of the person I was living with. Maybe one day I will go back and see it differently, but not like that. Never like that. The lessons I learned from this is that love with limits. Have boundaries. Have standards. Don't shrink to fit someone's small heart. If someone cannot afford your presence emotionally or practically, let them go. Because the day I chose myself, everything changed. Now, besties, I want to ask you, have you ever loved someone and lost yourself? Have you ever begged someone to stay when they were clearly showing you the door? What lesson did it teach you? Share your experience in the comments. Let's heal together. This is Dear Diary, and as always, it gets worse, but it also gets better. If you enjoy real-life storytelling like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need this story today. Until next Saturday, besties. Bye!